Alright you lot, welcome back. It's finally time to take a look at the Armageddon box, the 11th edition launch box. We now have all of the content. We're not just drip feeding, we've got the lot. So we're just going to dive right in. We're going to take a look, and we're going to start with the Orks, because frankly, the Orks are what I've been most excited about. And, well, I mean, the first thing that we get is the War Boss, who looks absolutely solid. So why not start here? No, seriously though, that is quality. I love the chain axe. The chain axe is wonderful. The fact that the chain axe is powered by a massive cable that's coming out of the haft of it, I don't know why, I just like that a lot. The head looks really good. I do like the really sort of thick horns on the helmet. That feels like a bit of a throwback to an earlier model, but I can't fully remember which one. Just the really chunky, thick horns. It feels like I've seen that before, but on an earlier edition model. It's going to bug me that I can't remember which one specifically. Presumably a War Boss, but you know, I really like it. The back banner is back in a big way. I'm loving back banners now. They used to get on my nerves, I'm not going to lie. I used to not like them, but I think not having them show up all that often for a while, and now they seem to have made a bit of a resurgence across a few different armies. For some reason, I'm starting to enjoy it more than I did before. We've got a little bit of tactical rock action, but it's not hugely egregious. I think the fact that it's two separate tactical rocks instead of one giant tactical rock, it's sort of fooling the brain a little bit. It's like, oh, well, it doesn't stand out too much. It's relatively subtly done. So that's all right. That's fine. The shooter looks great. Really like that. Just the overall girth of this lad is quality. Like, he looks absolutely solid. Really chunky, really threatening. The little visor over one of his eyes is a very fun touch on the helmet. And he's got the Giganto metal jaw. I do not have to tell you how cool the Giganto metal jaw is. We all know that orcs with big metal jaws simply look well-hard, alright? We know this. It's a proven fact. And he's got one. So immediately, his whole, like, aura, if you want to put it that way, it just goes up, especially with the angular shape of it. It looks brutal. It's great. Really like that a lot. Also, the addition of a small chain bayonet on the shooter is hilarious. I don't know why that's making me smile, but it is. It is. It's a fun little addition, and I like it a lot. We do, of course, have alternate angles as well. The back looks really good. Oh my god. I love that chain axe so much. Look, he's got like a petrol can strapped to his back, strapped to the boss pole, and that is what is feeding the chain axe through that cable. It's not that it's got an inbuilt, like, highly effective motor. No, it's just a little petrol engine. That is fantastic. That is genuinely excellent. I love it. Oh my god, yes. That's so good. I hadn't even really picked up on the fact that there's a little exhaust coming out the back of it. I hadn't even twigged that. Oh man, that's great. That's great. Absolutely love it. God, what a solid start. Also, this War Boss is bloody massive. Like, obviously, War Boss. Biggest, strongest, we know this. But I've only just twigged that there's a Space Marine helmet on that banner. Or at least a Space Marine skull with the remnants of a helmet around it. That's tiny. That's really small compared to the actual orc. God damn, this guy's an absolute unit. But yeah, this guy is absolutely quality. This is a fantastic start. He looks great. The model is excellent. Next up, we've got the big boss, and he's not quite as big as the War Boss, but he is still pretty chunky, and that is an excellent axe. I like the axe a lot. Really quite simple, relatively, but it looks very, very cool. It seems to be a power axe of some kind. Well, obviously it's just a massive chopper, but there is a technological thing going on. It is kind of funny that it seems to be slightly more advanced than the one the War Boss is carrying, but that's, hey, orc stuff. Just orc stuff, innit? I like the bionic eye. That looks really good. He's got a very ugly as hell face. Like, that is a lower jaw to be perhaps not envied. I really like this. The horns on the pole look great. It doesn't overshadow the War Boss, but it does mimic it just a little bit. Just for something a bit different. Works super well, draws a nice bit of attention to him without making him stand out above, you know, the biggest lad in the room. Yeah, this is decent as well. The necklace of teeth, very nice, like that a lot. There seems to be some sort of small squig on the base with him, so that's nice, like seeing that. I'm trying to work out what's going on around sort of the tabard / loincloth thing. It looks like there's a trophy of some kind, but I can't work out what it's from. I mean, we can clearly see that he's standing on some shattered armour. That is the remains of a power pack right there, I think. So that's fun. But, yeah, no, he looks good. Again, he looks good. A little bit of tactical rock action, but nothing too severe. I do like the big gut plate they have. Those look great. Also, his pauldrons look really good. Super rough and not well made, but they give like an extra bit of like heft to the upper half of this lad, who already is pretty hefty anyway, to be fair. I like that the bionic eye is powered by a small cable going across to some sort of generator attached to one of the pauldrons, right in the way of enemy fire. That's very fun, like that a lot. Just have to hope you don't get hit there, or you're going to go, well, you're going to have really bad depth perception suddenly. I like the look of the slugger as well, tucked away, just behind him there. Oh, it looks good. I like that a lot. This is a solid start for the Orks. This is absolutely quality. I'm loving it, but I am getting severe dry mouth from talking too much, so... As always, the fuel for this recording session is being provided by Holy, because I use that instead of drinking loads and loads of fizzy stuff and feeling awful afterwards. Instead, it's all about the Holy hydration, it's all about the iced tea, and the Holy energy, which I can't get enough of, especially when I'm doing a bunch of painting, because it keeps me awake. Right now, though, I have to admit, my main obsession when it comes to Holy is the passion fruit flavour hydration. It is so good. I'm drinking it every day, multiple times a day. I've only got like one packet left, and I know I need to buy a tub. I've got to buy a tub. But I'm wondering whether to just buy two, because that is just how much of it I'm drinking. It is the absolute best. The flavour, when it hits you... Oh, no, maybe not. The flavour, when it hit... No, I don't know how to finish that sentence. Look, Holy has genuinely been a game changer for me, and if you want to get into trying Holy, then the best way to do it is to grab the Starter Set Deluxe. Right now, if you are a new customer and you get that Starter Set Deluxe, you will get £10 off. I mean, it's less than £1 per serving, it's less than 20 kcals per serving, and there's 0 added sugar, so follow the link in the description or the pinned comment down below. Use the code KIRIOTH5 for £5 off your first order, and use the code KIRIOTH for 10% off after that. Thank you to Holy, and I'm probably going to have to go and get more of this before I carry on, because there's not a lot left in here. Next up, we've got the banner knob. That is a solid banner. Absolutely love that. The axe looks really good as well. The pose... I don't know why. The pose is absolutely sending me. Why does he look so heroic? It's like he's trying so hard to look heroic, but then his teeth are way too big for his face. And he's got the whole hunched back thing, one leg being planted on that rock and the other being down. It looks like he's seen a Space Marine do it, and he's copying him without really knowing why. I don't think that's necessarily what they were going for, but that's immediately where my brain went. He just looks so proud. Like, that is a lad who is proud of his job. He's absolutely loving it. The banner does look absolutely solid. That is really good. Big old skull on top. You got your two horns as well. You got the metal jaw thing going on. That's very nice. I like the design of the banner there. I'm hoping that some of that is actually moulded on as opposed to all being freehand or transfer. It looks like at least the central bit is moulded. We'll have to see, though. It'll probably say. The top knot looks fantastic. Really like that. And just the sheer number of like rounds that are all over those bandoliers, and you can see the shooter behind him as well. Oh man, that is a very fun model. That is very cool. It does look... He looks so serious though. He really does. I like it a lot, but wow. I love the way the banner is all folded at the back. Just a little thing, but it looks really good. It looks properly believable. I like that a lot. Also having this stitching and stuff coming through. Just a little detail, just a little thing, but I don't think anyone would have missed it if it wasn't there. But it is there, and that's cool. Also seeing like the iron bands holding the symbols on as you go up the pole of it. Oh god, that's great. That is really good. I had a feeling the Orc stuff was going to be good, right? Because a couple of things they've already shown off, like the weird boy, and then you had the knob for the normal boys. Those looked solid and kind of made me think it looks like they're going to go pretty hard on the Orcs for these. And yes, Yes, they absolutely have. I'm loving this so far. The Space Marine side, it's going to have a lot to live up to. I'm curious to see, because I haven't actually looked at most of this stuff yet. I've been keeping it away from me so we can just go through it together. But yeah, the Orc side of things so far, absolutely chef's kiss, good. Real nice. For some reason I expected his shooter to be fancier than that, but you know what? He has got a fancy banner, so I think he's all fancied out, you know? Oh, next up we've got a new Pain Boy. He looks absolutely horrendous. Mind you, he's got a very clean apron there. Very clean. Admittedly, that's obviously entirely down to how the person has painted it, but I personally, doing a Pain Boy, I would not have it be that clean. I would have it be absolutely drenched in blood, like properly soaked through. But I do like the contrast that provides there. That's very fun. The like horrible orky version of like a Narthasium. Is it just one that he's nicked off someone else? I suppose it is entirely possible. But then also the grot carrying a bone saw. You don't want an orc with a bone saw anywhere near you. The fact that he's got those two horrible talon sort of scalpely fingers on the other hand is really grim, but I like it a lot. Also is his like flip down magnifier thing, or is that a little light? It's hard to tell because he's got a bionic eye there too. It's also bolted directly into his skull, obviously. I mean, I just love this. The bandages look really good. I love the way they've done the layering on the bandages. That looks nice. Also, the fact that you can clearly see that one arm has just fully been stitched back on. I say stitched back on, it's not even his arm, is it? Is it just me? Or have they done a little bit of a difference in shade for the green on that sewn-on arm? It might just be that, like, the blending is broken up by the fact you got the scar and the staples and stuff. Either way, I love that that is just probably someone else's arm that's been strapped on. That's very, very fun. Also, having one leg that is a little wheel is also excellent. Like, I like that a lot. Oh, man. Oh, that's horrible. I've just noticed that that the big, whatever that is, like canister on his back, canister full of blood maybe, is also attached to him via a barely closed wound in his back. Oh, God. That's gross. That's horrible. Very fun, very cool, but ugh. I absolutely love the grot carrying the bone saw. The fact that he too has got a surgical mask and a little apron is hilarious. 10 out of 10. No further comments. No notes needed. Quick stop to ogle the weird boy. Yep. Still solid. And we're on to the boys. And frankly, this is a really good looking squad. I think these look really nice. I mean, immediately there's some sort of recognisable heads from previous kits, you know, obviously done up to make look a bit different, a bit more fresh and a bit more crisp, but overall, yeah, this is a good looking squad. This is definitely a good looking lot. So we got the back views as well, excellent. Love the bag full of stick bombs there, 10 out of 10, love that. Also, we've got some knife action there as well. Couple of blades, we've got a shooter. The fact that you can have all the fact that they've got shooters, sluggers, and choppers is excellent. I love it. I really like that change. That's very, very nice. I'm glad they've done it. I think it makes sense, to be honest. Orcs don't strike me as being a group who are going to be like, yeah, but for just most of us, we really only want to focus on one type of killing. Like, I feel like, yes, obviously you've got orcs like the flash gits and stuff, and you've got those who go all stealthy, and the tank busters and the like, but for your vast majority of orcs, I feel like they wouldn't have the choice of, do you want to do slugger and chopper, or do you want to do shooter? They would go, well, how many weapons can you strap to me? How many can I carry? Can I have 2 shooters? Because I want 2 shooters. Like, it feels a bit more logical. Not that logic plays a huge part in 40k in any way, shape or form, but I don't know. I like it, and I think it suits them really well, and I think it makes more sense than how it was previous, even though that's what we're used to, you know? I mean, I just really think these look fantastic. They really do. They are way better than the kind of redesigned ones that we got a little while ago out of the, like, not the starter set, the combat patrol or whatever. The poses are, I think, a bit more interesting. The fact that they do have the variety of weapons is obviously a huge upgrade, and you're not having to split between a ridiculous thing of, oh, well, you got 6 with one loadout and 4 with the other, so you need to buy however many boxes to get 3 complete squads or any of that nonsense like that. That was not a good refresh. The Beast Snagger Boys was a way better refresh. The fact that they kept selling the original boys from like 3rd edition really indicates that they knew they hadn't done what actually needed to be done at the time. These, I mean, I don't want to speak for Orc players here, but as someone who used to have a very sizable Orc army, I mean, these are good enough that the ham-fisted approach they took before, it feels less of a severe issue now. It feels like, all right, okay, you done good this time. You done good. The previous sin potentially may be a little bit forgiven, because these kind of rock. They do look fantastic. Oh, love them. Now, of course, despite having a grot a day for the last week, we still have more grots to look at because we didn't see all of the grots. I mean, they look good. They do look good. The lad with the slugger just doing that amazing pose, he's still the favourite. He's still the favourite for me. The others look absolutely fine. They look decent. It feels like there is a sort of mix of different editions going on again with the inclusion of many more pointy hats, which is nice to see. And also just things like the mix of like clothes. The fact that some are more clothed than others. Their faces are properly evil most of the time. I do like the fact that a couple of them have got a cheeky grin on. That's quite nice. But yeah, I think these look really solid. The only thing is, I'm looking side to side here and I'm not seeing a runt herd, which to me suggests maybe the runt herd is a goner, which would be a bit of a shame, to be honest. Now, this is just flat out exciting. A new war track. A new war track? Oh my god. The old war track was on sale for so long and didn't in any way match the look of what the Orks were for most of its lifespan. The fact they've redesigned it, I've just got nostalgia for this. I just have got nostalgia for it. I just love it. I just love it. It looks meaner. It looks uglier. It looks better, for sure, because it's not 1,000 years old. I just really, really like this. I think it looks great. The lads themselves look fantastic. We still have a bit of that old style in there from the OG war track, which is lovely to see. I suppose technically it's not the OG, is it? I can't remember whether the first one was metal and then it went plastic. I'm not sure. But I know I had a couple of the plastic ones back in the day, and this is... Oh man, this just makes me happy. Just makes me happy. I think it looks great. I think it looks great. The tracks themselves look really beefy and rugged. Love that. The bike front end is really nicely done. I love the pose on the actual... I shouldn't say the pilot. The rider. Pilot. What the hell? I love the pose on him. He looks fantastic. Also, the way he's hunched over, it does nod towards that sort of older war track. It definitely has that kind of feel to it. But he's just so much more detailed and in line with the rest of how the Orks look. Love it. Also, the coat. The coat. Can we talk about the sleeveless, I guess, like the leather vest there on the gunner? Because that looks great. Oh, man. This is perfect. I think it's actually perfect. I genuinely do. I never thought I'd want a war track again, but I actually do want a war track. I want to do another Speed Freaks army looking at that, which is... I didn't think I'd ever go down that road again, but I'm just... Oh, it's got me right in the nostalgia, that one. Absolutely blindsided me. I mean, come on. Look how cool that is. They took the silly thing, and it's still kind of silly, but they made it better and newer and more detailed and more rugged and... Oh, yes. Oh, now we've got the Big Mech Dakar rig, which, what a name. Jesus Christ. It's so silly. I really like it. I mean, I'm not generally a fan of, like, open-top walkers, but I feel like for the Orks, this works. It does work. I like the gun. The gun looks fantastic. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely stupid. It's massive, but that is pretty cool. Also, the array of rockets just strapped to the underside, ready to go. There is a bit too much symmetry in some ways for me. I don't. I feel like a bit more random gubbins would be nice. Like just a couple of guns strapped on one side or something. There is definitely a lot of symmetry going on here, which is fine. But I do like a bit of asymmetry when it comes to orc like vehicles and mechs, just a little bit. But apart from that, I really like it. I mean, that's something easily solvable as well. You just, load a couple of extra exhausts on one side, or, load the rockets heavily on one side of it than the other. Just little things like that can easily be done if you're prepared to do a bit of cutting, a bit of gluing that is not supposed to be done. But yeah, I like that a lot. I love his big power pack thing. That's very fun. It seems to be directly connected to the the dagger rig, so that's excellent. The hanging cables and stuff behind it, those look great. Also being able to see like the engine itself kind of nestled behind the driver, that's very cool. That's very cool. I like the way they've done the ammo drums as well. That's pretty neat. That's something that I don't think I've really seen before. It feels like a nod towards, yes, this is how it can fire so many times, whereas they normally just go, yeah, well, just because a heavy bolter doesn't seem to have more than about 2 seconds worth of ammo with it at all times doesn't mean it can't fire the entire fight. Little things where, for some of them, they go, no, we need an explanation for this. I like it, even if it is inconsistent. But yeah, the mechanical parts of this at the back are very, very cool. They've done a great job of that. It looks suitably, not ramshackle. Well, maybe a bit ramshackle, but it also does feel like functional as well, which is cool. And that's it for the Orks. That's it. We're done with the Orks. But the fact is we still have the entire Space Marine lot to go as well. So we're going to do that now. Let's just do the whole thing. All one video. Let's go absolutely wild with it. And I'll just put a timestamp in so you can skip to the Space Marine one if you have no taste. Sorry, that was unnecessarily confrontational. Look, we've got a new Space Marine captain to take a look at, so let's have a look at him. We've got the captain with Relic Shield. He looks decent. To be fair, he does look good. The flames on the leg. Now, Blood Angels are fine. I'm not going to say they're my favourites, but I do like them. The fiery leg, is that a specific thing? Is that like an Armageddon thing? Because I don't think I've seen that before on Blood Angels. Obviously, you'll be able to paint this guy however you like, because they're painted Blood Angels, but they're generic. I've never seen that before. That's like short-circuited my brain. I think that looks decent. I like that a lot. The shield and sword look is very cool. The actual armour itself, you've got a bit of extra fancy stuff going on. You've got those decorative ropes and tassels that I definitely can remember the name of. I can't. Those look really good across the chest, actually. That's quite nice. I'm a big fan of a tilt shield. We know this. Big fan of a tilt shield. Really like that. So that being included is obviously a massive plus. Also, the fact he has a power sword with a secondary power sword. To be fair, we do know that it's quicker to switch to your secondary power sword than it is to reload your primary power sword. So there is a reason for it, but I do like that that's there. That's very fun. Overall, I think that looks like a decent captain. I think the pose is good. The tactical rock is maybe a bit much. But yeah, the pose is good. I would say even the head looks decent as well. That iron halo looks fantastic, especially with the purity seals on either side. Also, a lot of purity seals on this guy. A lot of them. There's 3 on the shield. There's 2 on the iron halo. There's There's 1 on one of his greaves. He's got a bit of drip going on. I think he actually looks really nice. There is also a helmet, so much though I think that bare head is decent. I would obviously be going for a helmet instead. Look, it just looks better. The helmet looks better. The bare head looks fine. The helmet looks better. Both of them, actually. I do like these. Just in case you were thinking to yourself, can I paint these as anything else? Of course, you've got to get an Ultramarine in there somewhere. So, yeah, we can see that there. I'm sort of thinking the helmet with the crest actually looks better. I'm also completely blanking on what mark of helmet the Blood Angel version has. Is it the Mark 7? It's fine. Whatever. It looks decent. It looks good. This basically is not that far off how my Bulwark looks in Space Marine 2 half the time, so that's probably why I like it so much. Admittedly, no cape on the lad at the moment, but apparently that's going to change soon, so that's fun. Oh, it says right there it's a Mark 7 helmet. Idiot. Hey, at least I got it right. I didn't even notice that. I don't know what it is. I can only retain certain, like, amounts of information when it comes to Space Marine helmets. There's, like, 3 marks that I can remember reliably, and the rest of them are like, it's something around there. It's something like that. It's close enough. What do you want? Anyway, let's carry on. Next up, we've got the Librarian, who looks decent enough. I quite like him. The pose is good. Also, it looks like he's blasting rocks forwards, which is quite nice, given that the Weird Boy also looks like he's blasting rocks. I mean, probably a little bit of a fun diorama you could do between those two. It does look nice. I've always liked the rune carving aspect of Librarians. Sometimes it can get a bit busy, but I think it looks decent here. The head looks alright. The blue glowing eyes do a lot of heavy lifting for bear heads, and you can't do that with all these Space Marines, or people will give you funny looks, but yeah, I like that. The Librarian staff always looks weird to me. I think it's because the style of, like, runes and stuff on it aren't close enough to what you see on the armour sometimes. I think that's all it is. It doesn't look bad. I think it looks alright. But yeah, I mean, he's a Librarian in a different pose. The Librarian already looked cool. He's in an action pose, which is cool. That's pretty much it, really, isn't it? Oh, he also gets a helmet option, by the way. Helmet looks decent. I actually think the bear head looks better in this situation, which, you know, not often I say that. Quick stop at the Chaplain with jump pack. Still looks good. Now we've got the Vanguard Veterans, and I think, quick scroll through, they look alright, they look decent. They're about on par with the Sternguard Veterans, or the Primaris versions of the Sternguard Veterans. They're pretty much on the same level of extra decoration as them, so it keeps them consistent. They're not quite as fancy and ornate as the previous veterans, which is a bit of a shame. I think there is definitely room for more on them. They're obviously not particularly busy, which is definitely a plus for newer painters, I think it's fair to say, but I just feel like a little bit more would be nice to make them really, really stand out. Now, of course, they do stand out in a way because we have these different marks of armour, or like different marks of armour inspiration across the squad, which is nice to see, and it does add an extra element of, like, customization and things just being a little bit different, a little bit more unique. But yeah, they're not quite doing it for me in the same way as the previous Vanguard Veterans did, and I'm not seeing shields here either. Now, the previous lot could take storm shields, and I'm not seeing that, which is a little bit of a shame. We'll just have a quick look and see whether that's confirmed or not. So we've got mastercrafted power weapons wielded with peerless skill. They've got the Crux Terminatus on the shoulder pad and the Operation Imperial campaign badge. Okay, they're fine. Yeah, I feel like maybe if shields are an option, they won't be in this box, but we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Now, we've got a new Ancient as well, and he looks decent. I mean, he's another Ancient. We've already had a couple of these, and by and large, it's a dude in slightly fancier armour holding a big banner, which is exactly what we've got this time as well. But the armour looks good, the banner's nice. By the look of things, it is a moulded banner as well, so you've got actual detail moulded into the plastic, which will make painting it a little bit easier, to say the least. All of my banners always end up being black with a transfer or red with a transfer, and they looked, frankly, dog shit. So whenever I see a moulded banner, I'm like, oh, it kind of takes away from the customization, but on the other hand, it's way easier to paint, and you don't have to faff around, and that makes things just nicer if, like me, you can't freehand to save your life. But yeah, he looks decent enough, he looks fine. Alternate views, we've of course got a different helmet again, which I think could stand to be fancier, but is overall perfectly serviceable Ancient. He's not blowing anyone away, it's not the most exciting thing I've ever seen in my life, but he looks good enough, so that's fine. Given that this box seems to be a way in for sort of newer Space Marine players whilst trying to evoke enough nostalgia to also attract veteran ones, basically just doing here's a basic starting force does make sense, but it also means that things like the Ancient are just not going to be all that exciting. Now, we've also got more Intercessors. We definitely need another box of Intercessors, and that's why we've got these. And, I mean, they're absolutely fine. They're fine. We've got a little bit extra decoration going on here. We've got a few bits of inspiration from older marks of armour again, but we also have purity seals. There's just that little bit of added goodness that does make a difference, for sure, does make a difference. But at the end of the day, we are basically getting intercessors again, and yes, some of the heads are different. Yes, we do have more purity seals. Those are both things that I enjoy and approve of. We're also not blowing anyone away with these, you know? Again, I think I've mentioned this before, but if you've been collecting Space Marines for any length of time, there is a good chance that you will have ended up with some number of spare helmets. And so for a lot of people, myself included, when it comes to putting a Space Marine squad together, when it comes to putting an Intercessor squad together, chances are you've thought about or done the thing of sticking a Firstborn helmet in there at some point, which those are the big draws, or the most notable things, I think, for most people. I could be totally talking out my arse there, to be fair. Like, if the most notable thing for you is, in fact, you know, like, the greaves look different, or that pauldron has got a slightly different rim to it, or, you know, actually that chest piece is not the Mark X one, that's totally fine. I tend to find myself spotting head swaps more than anything else. So, in that respect, they don't feel hugely special, but we are seeing a bit more decoration. We are seeing a little bit more personalisation in terms of those purity seals and those little added trinkets and the like, and I like that. I do like it. Now, we also have an Eradicator squad with heavy bolters, and frankly, these rule. Love these. They look fantastic. I mean, God, Gravis armor is just great. I love how chunky it is. It's really hefty. They've got the girth, which is fantastic, and I love heavy bolters, and as such, I like these. Also, I do like the fact that we have these, like, Gravis helmets that are based off Firstborn designs. Now, I don't necessarily know how much sense that makes, but I don't care also. I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't care. That looks cool. That looks cool. I like it. That's about it. Again, this is basically just how my heavy looks in Space Marine 2. So it's hard to dislike it because it's kind of that, but with a few more chains and a slightly slimmer helmet. And that's it. So I would be hypocritical to be like, these don't look good, because I think they do. And they basically have the loadout that I use for when I play the game. So can't be mad at it. Just can't. Also, I just noticed something. This guy, his grip on top of the gun is one way, and for this guy, his grip on top of the gun is a different way. It's just a little thing. It's just a small thing. But even that by itself, I quite like. There's an element of personalisation there, and that's fun. And finally, we've got the Land Speeder, which looks decent. I mean, it looks like a slightly redesigned, slightly sleeker, bulkier Land Speeder. To be honest, I was surprised to see that they were doing this in the first place, because I thought they'd already done a Primaris version of the Land Speeder. But then again, those were a lot bigger and a lot heftier. They felt like full-on vehicles, as opposed to... Well, I mean, it's still a full-on vehicle, but this feels more scouty, and less, oh my god, there's a flying brick coming towards us, which is what the previous Primaris speeders kind of gave the impression of. These seem to be a bit closer to the older style Land Speeder. We've got a couple of different loadouts as well, so it looks like you can go anti-infantry, you can go anti-tank, we've got the multi-melter, we've got assault cannon, is that the onslaught Gatling cannon actually? And then we've got a heavy pyre-blast, or whatever the hell the name of the double-barreled one is, I can't remember. Pyre cannon, is that it? Look, who cares? We know what it is, and it's fine. I think it looks alright. It looks decent. It looks about on par with the old Land Speeder for me personally. I do think the grav plates are a bit much. Those are sticking out a bit further than we had on the one that this one's replacing. But other than that, no real complaints. It's just not that exciting. But it might be for you, and that's totally fine. Now, as they say, all of these are push fit, which should be fine, and I think is a good idea for an introductory box, especially for new players. It makes it easier to put the miniatures together. That's all fine and good. I do wonder, for the larger stuff, like the Land Speeder, like the Dakar rig, just how easy the push fit side of things is going to be for those. Be interesting to see, because potentially it could be super easy. People just get them done real quick, not a problem. Could also end up looking a bit naff, depending on where the joins are, depending on, you know, how they've hidden those. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? Because these won't be the push fit ones. I'm 99% sure these are not the actual miniatures. They'll be the 3D printed ones that they do for all the promotion beforehand. At least I think that would be the case. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see when the box drops and see what the overall reaction is to the chunkier push fit side of things. But anyway, those are the miniatures from the box. That is what we've got to expect. I think, for me personally, the Orks came out on top in a big way. I think the redesigns they've done for the boys look fantastic. Just really everything on that side of the box is really, really well done. I don't think the Space Marine stuff is bad. I just think that at this point, we're kind of, for a box like this, where it's like, oh, you've got to do one half being Space Marines, but it needs to be an introductory Space Marine force, but it needs to be generic so it can apply to as many players as possible, as many armies as possible. I don't know what you would do to make that more exciting. I don't have any idea other than actually aim it specifically at a single chapter so that you can produce more heavily customized stuff that makes it really stand out from what we've already got. I think there's a little bit of like bloating, but at the same time, the stuff in this box, for the most part, it's not actually going to increase how much stuff Space Marines have, like datasheet wise. So I think there's a bit of compromising going on, where we've got things that are technically new, but aren't actually new. They're not going to be getting new datasheets. They're not going to be getting new stats. They're not going to be, adding a load of bulk to Space Marines rules-wise, which I can understand why they've done that. But again, it kind of leaves that thing of, what do you do to make it fresh and new, whilst also not actually really adding anything new at all? It's difficult. But then again, the Orks did really well. So, I mean, is it just time for Orks to shine once more? Might well be. I think that's okay. Let me know what you thought of that lot in the comments down below. Check out Holy using the link in the description and the pinned comment down below. Thank you to them. Thank you to you. And I'll see you for the next one.